In the year 2010, the Central Bank of Eswatini was challenged for the first time to reconsider reviewing its traditional mandate when the country's biggest mobile network operator, MTN Eswatini, filed an application for the first mobile money operation. This forced the bank's hand to embrace financial inclusion, triggering wholesale policy reforms.
Financial inclusion is our very important strategic focus, especially in our time and going forward. And it's something that the bank has been focusing on, and albeit passively, if I may say, early 2010, 2011, when we were beginning to open up to mobile money transfers, etc. But in later years, we have now prioritized financial inclusion, and as we believe that by having more people participate, especially at the low end of the population, the low-income earners, the more they participate in banking facilities and financial services, by doing so, they contribute into the growth of the economy.
In partnership with the Alliance for Financial Inclusion, AFI, the bank took the lead in driving the financial inclusion agenda in the country through making enabling policies for the financial sector to implement. The aim of these policies is to create an environment for the financially underserved to participate in mainstream financial services.
As we engage with our regulated financial institutions, and even those that are regulated by the non-bank financial institutions body, we ensure that there is collaboration in ensuring that financial inclusion is permeating across the sectors.
We've managed to actually make the necessary noise to make financial inclusion understood in the country and a significant developmental goal for the country. While it may not be written or whatever, but the nature of us being in existence is everybody wants to partner with us at the moment because they know what we can do to change the landscape. We've also contributed to a lot of policy changes, and we're probably going to also make a significant policy change in the future.
Working closely with CFI, the bank came up with a set of policies that encouraged commercial banks to have account products that catered for the low-income earners.
We partner with the Center for Financial Inclusion and the Central Bank in ensuring that we empower the young ones from school-going age to be able to start the culture of saving. We also participate in other programs that government offer for the lower end of the market. We have the small and micro enterprises. We very close to them in that we understand the way they operate, the difficulties in which they actually get to find finance, but also the issue around administration because of the expensive side to it.
Over the years, we can say that also Central Bank has assisted us as institutions in terms of improving, the uptake of onboarding of such clients. So, for instance, we used to struggle as banks to actually open accounts for the low segment because of the know your client requirements, which are part of our anti-money laundering spectrum. Yeah. So they did actually issue a guideline around handling we call them lesser verified clients. So that means those that are in 5,000 and below, in terms of reducing, the type of documents that are required. And that actually made it quite easier. And Nedbank actually took that up, and we were able to actually craft a number of products for our low segment clients, for instance, in the consumer banking space.
Kule bank account yami lena ingisitile kakhulu because ngiyakhona ngine ma funeral covers la kuyo. Ngijoine two ma funeral cover nje mina. Inkumbe ma funeral cover laba khona. Okay, ngiyakhona neku save la school fees sebamfana. Yeah, bangisita kakhulu because nanyalo nje yinsha le account yami lenginayo ya lama funeral covers. Ngiyo ngifike ngabo bangitshelile ukuthi kunema funeral cover and a cheap a-cheap ngiko nje nami ngaze ngathatha 2 alozi vele i-cheap awuboni nanokuthi khona imali esebayithethe the way laba-cheap ngayo.
The story, therefore, financial inclusion is very, very key to Eswatini Bank because of its mandate. As I've mentioned to you, the reason why it was established, if you then look back, it was because of financial inclusion. So financial inclusion in Eswatini Bank started at inception. When it was established, it was really for that purpose at the time. Now, fast forward to today again, more products, more services have come up that continue to be aligned to financial inclusion.
Financial inclusion basically is the reason why MTN mobile money actually exists in the market. There were financial transactions happening before, but 11 years or so ago, MTN saw the opportunity to meet the needs of an excluded group of Swazis who would ideally like to perform transactions, but they cannot because of their social or economic dynamics.
Membership to AFI has immensely benefited the Central Bank of Eswatini as it drives the financial inclusion agenda.
When we're doing the practice note, AFI played a great role in that document because we formulated the document and we also had it peer reviewed by AFI members. And also we are a member of the Digital Financial Working Group within AFI. We attend those meetings and also we attend the trainings from AFI. AFI has helped us a lot because there's a number of workshops that we have attended, even including on oversight. We've attended workshops from AFI on oversight, and during those workshops we also learned from other countries on how they do their oversight, on how they improve their payment systems, and there's a lot we have gained on peer learning. It is just not only the workshops, because we've been to other countries where AFI is operating. There's a lot I can say about that.
When I started in year 2018, the commission was a little bit small. I got 17 emalangeni on my first month. As I continued, what I noticed was that people only deposited money to simply buy themselves airtime. They didn't see it as a bank. Even though it is not moving as fast as the other networks, people are now branching into Imali. I suppose the company saw my determination, hence I just saw a van from the company delivering the kiosk I am now using. I didn't even know the kiosks were available. The first kiosk was burnt and the company replaced it. I guess they could see my determination and hard work. I can see people are now realizing that Imali is more of a bank. Stockfells are now using Imali to save money. I had one who deposited 10,000 emalangeni, which shows that people now trust the platform. Personally, I can attest that you can save money using Imali. You can save and plan what you want to achieve. I have a home now that I built with my Imali savings. My house is fully furnished because of my savings on Imali. I don't do lay-bys, but I just save money to buy what I want.
Instacash is a new mobile money business, the third to be licensed by the Central Bank of Eswatini after MTN Fintech Pty Ltd and Eswatini Mobile. Unlike the two, Instacash is not a mobile network operator, but uses a USSD communications protocol to access both MTN and Eswatini Mobile subscribers.
Instacash, being a mobile money platform, uses the same model as the other two players in the space. So our business rides on a nationwide agency network. So our agency network is built in several layers to allow for financial inclusion. So we want it to be as simple as possible for anyone in any part of the country to become part of our agency network, and also very easy for anyone to be part of our customer network because we are in the financial inclusion space.
The central bank is in the process of setting up a local national payment switch project which will benefit commercial banks, customers, and mobile money operators. The minimum standards for electronic money guideline supports interoperability of payment systems in the country. A notable development is that mobile money operators are already interoperable, while legislation is undergoing review in Parliament to cater for the innovations in this space.
Well, that is why even in our mandate we have that when we oversee the payment systems, we want to ensure that customers are protected. Seeing all these innovations happening, the central bank embarked on a journey of reviewing our National Clearing and Settlements Act. The National Clearing and Settlement Act, it mostly looked at clearing and settlement. So the MNOs, or the mobile money service providers, were not included in the act. So that is why we had to do the practice note to cover up for the mobile money service providers.
It's about not being over prescriptive, but also having a position where you can say, if you are a fintech and you'd like to get into this space, these are the regulatory tools that we have available for you to partake and start to interact with the space. So one of those tools is the regulatory sandbox we developed back in March 2019. To date, I think we received about 6 applications, 7 inquiries, and only one of those applicants was successful. A company by the name of ePaynet or DigiImage. And I think one of the solutions that made them unique in that space was that they provided interoperability between a mobile money account and a bank account. So you're able to harness that value of moving your money to and fro. And they also provided some lending platform within that. So a pure fintech in the sense that they were solving a problem and that you have to have different communication lines, and they sorted that out in terms of interoperability.
We thought of coming up with local payments whereby one can withdraw money from their mobile money wallet straight into an ATM. So though your funds are sitting on your mobile money wallet, you can still go to an FNB ATM and withdraw those funds in the form of an e-wallet. You can also make a transfer from your mobile money wallet to another mobile money wallet, but at reduced rates. So which speaks to a level of financial inclusion right there. And then on another note, we thought about self-help groups, the different stockfiles that we have in country. How are they banking their funds? So those are not part of the ecosystem. They are somehow excluded, especially those who are in the rural areas. So we thought if we can come up with a module within the same platform that will allow them to actually open an account with us and do their banking. So savings transactions don't have to be recorded on a manual book, but rather one can just use the platform, process a transaction straight into their collection account without moving the comfort of their home or there whatsoever.
Eswatini Multi-Purpose Savings and Credit Cooperative Society was established in the year 2007. The cooperative has moved from very humble beginnings to amass a membership of some 595 micro-business women and some men. When subscriptions became too large to handle, the cooperative took a leap of faith and subscribed under DigiImage's ePaynet system. They never regretted the decision.
We now have 595 members. The majority of these members are women. Our members run small businesses such as selling fat cakes, mobile money, and fruits and vegetables, and many small businesses. When they make profits in these, they then save within the cooperative. We do have members who have developed so much that they now have restaurants here. One of our members owns a pharmacy and land in the town after benefiting from the cooperative. I can count many, including some who sell clothes. We have another who now owns a driving school after getting assistance from this cooperative.
The new system has been very helpful in bringing efficiencies in the remitting of funds and record keeping. Members get reminders via text message to remit their Momo savings. The platform also allows members to move money from a mobile money wallet to bank accounts. Before the use of the system, members had to travel to the office to apply for and collect loans. The biggest bank in the kingdom, Standard Bank, has taken advantage of the fintech developments to introduce a hybrid wallet and bank account product that is tailored for the bottom of the pyramid.
The word Duna itself means you have it in English. The funny thing is that in all the different African languages, it just means the same thing. It means you have it. So that's why we then decided to call it Duna, because Unayo is a hybrid solution between a bank account and a wallet business. In most cases, financial inclusion is solved by focusing on a wallet business model. But in our case, we brought together these capabilities and in one solution, which means the moment you onboard and you have it, you will then be able to have an account and also have a wallet capability. Now, one will start to ask, what value does it bring? The real value is that now you are sitting there in a position where you have a wallet to play on the informal market, to be able to allow those people on that side to participate fully. Also on the other side, we are also bringing the financial sector the core, because accounts are core of what we regard as banking, also in the same breath. So that's really start to change the dynamics. Now you can be able to move money into banking sector, move money into wallets system. So those were the fundamentals that we looked at.
The central bank acknowledges that there are certain population groups that have been historically marginalized in as far as access to financial services is concerned. These include women and the youth.
We did a small research through students from the university, and we discovered that these women who are trading in small goods, vegetables and sometimes fruits, clothing, this and that, they were being serviced by loan sharks, to be honest. And we moved in and we designed a product. We call it Mthombo Wempilo. And we began to offer credit to these women in town markets under group schemes, and they administer themselves. And they recommend each other in terms of who accesses credit and who probably still has to wait until they are ready to do so. In a way, it's been a success story for us. Firstly, we have relieved these women from being victims of loan sharks, and they are now accessing formal financial services through our operation. And we have also observed growth. Some of them who started off as just running a small operation, they've graduated to the level where they now own their own mini trucks. They actually go to the wholesale to source and come back and sell.
We've got an SME loan facility, so largely focusing on SMMEs, and obviously the pricing there is also considered, and the accessibility is also considered. It's a fund really that was brought in also by government to just help support the SMME sector. So we work closely also with our shareholder, as you can see, in terms of just trying to address these issues. So that is the key product, and it is also linked to the guarantee schemes at the CBS, the central bank. And I think that works very well, because then the issue of collateral always falls away, in a way, which is what we find as a key problem with our customers when they are seeking credit. So that is a product that we largely sell to the startups and those that informal, those that the lower end of the market. That would be really the product that we provide when it comes to businesses.
While the scheme could clearly be better promoted or even better positioned to attract underserved communities who lack collateral, Nedbank seems to be among a few institutions that have found a way to utilize it better.
Again, we participate fully with the government guarantee scheme, which seeks to assist and empower small enterprises and even up to your peddler in the street, as long as they are registered businesses and they have a trading license. They're able If they've got a bankable proposition or an order, they come to the bank, we look into that, we assess it, and then we actually refer them to the scheme as part of the collateral.
While the number of beneficiaries of the credit guarantee scheme may not be flattering, there are few success stories to write home about. Her breakthrough came in 2017 when she approached Eswatini Bank for a loan under the SMME credit facility that is linked to the CBE's credit guarantee scheme.
Went for Eswatini Bank. That's when we realized that they now understand agribusiness on the cows, because you can't have the cat now asking for a loan then pay every month, because that's not possible. So now they had understood what's happening on the farming business. So now we asked for a loan, got the first loan there, which is paid twice a year. We went from 30, 60, the largest amount of animals we've had is 90. I had a very good market. I had one guy who was looting at Mangaya and who was selling for Spa at that time. Spa and Pick and Pay. So my business was good. I'm tired of selling to middlemen. My future plan is an abattoir. I've started constructing it. It's just that I haven't had a funding. I'm building it from my pocket, so it's slowly getting there, but it will be completed, of course.
26-year-old Sihle Sugati, now a budding butcheress, only got to know about the credit facility from her mother.
I tried applying in other banks, but I couldn't meet the requirements. So Nedbank, I eventually applied with Nedbank. Most of them, they wanted the business to be already operating under my name for about 6 months. I wouldn't say it was a difficult process, but it took longer than I had anticipated. I applied, I think, in August, but they only approved in November. No, not November, I think September, but they disbursed in November when I started the butchery. They helped me with this, bank guarantee scheme. So they assisted for applying that, because I didn't have anything as security. So it serves as security for the loan.
The Center for Financial Inclusion is currently rolling out a 6-year financial inclusion and cluster development project, FINCLUDE, in all 4 regions of the country. Sponsored by the International Fund for Agricultural Development, IFAD, it seeks to assist resource-constrained aspiring smallholder farmers grow their production by ensuring that they have the correct markets for their products.
It's a 6-year project which is expected to be delivered nationwide, and we are already implementing it nationwide. So the concept is addressing 2 key issues mainly. Issues of market access and access to finance using what we call a cluster approach. The cluster approach is simplified. It's a strategy of bringing farmers to work together, farmers with a similar commodity, farmers within a local community or proximity to one another, and the common thing is supplying to the markets to attain the volumes that are required by the markets. Some of the key issues that are being addressed by FINCLUDE are issues of inconsistent contracts by markets, issues of low productivity and quality, and then also issues of having the right finance platforms, because smallholder farmers usually find it difficult to access finance. They are deemed as a risky target group. So FINCLUDE is in the space to mainly address to those issues. We also have in the project a social mentoring concept. The social mentoring concept, because we have a lot of women participating in the group. So you find there's been a lot of social issues, social barriers as well, that limit the participation of women in economic enterprises. So the closed social mentoring address those issues, whilst the business mentoring aspect of the project ensures the beneficiaries can be handheld up to a point where they have financing from banks.
Eswatini Agri-Tech Solutions, owned by the 36-year-old Mbuso Vilagati in partnership with FINCLUDE, plans to revolutionize farming and the kingdom by employing agri-technology in the production of vegetables. These include drip irrigation, tunnel farming, and net houses.
Then I went to IDCE just to make consultations and find out information. A week after that, IDCE called me back. They said, we have been watching you on Facebook. We are interested in helping you out. Then I went to them. We started negotiations. Then I told them that, okay, CFI has offered 2 tunnels that I would use as a knowledge center. Then they said, I can use those tunnels to be part of my contribution to the loan. Then I started writing a business plan. I wrote that business plan myself. Luckily, and God willing, today I got funding through IDCE, which is approximately 1.7 million. And that 1.7 million will be used to develop this farm that you see behind me, which is a 12-hectare farm. And it's going to have 8 tunnels, 1 hectare of net house. Then there will be open field.
Smiling Through Farming is an agribusiness which was established in 2013. The business specializes in agro-products, especially legume seeds. The business now uses 30 hectares of land to grow their produce.
A lot of people didn't believe in what we are doing, so the more we were growing over the years, we've seen even our revenue growing. From the time when we graduated, we were so happy. The first revenue we made, it was 30,000 rand. We were in the university, and by then we didn't even have a bank account. We just lay the money around our campus room, and we were so happy. And then we took it to the bank to open a bank account. And then we've grown over the years from 30,000 to 100,000. Now we're making an annual turnover audited of around 2.5 million. So we still have an aspiration, because as we're starting the year, we have a target as a team to say, can we reach a target of at least 5 million in terms of turnover and grow from there?
Undoubtedly, the financial inclusion agenda is creating opportunities where none existed. Zambi Dube is a typical example. He has benefited from Eswatini Bank's flexible loan arrangement to differentiate himself from ordinary vendors and create employment for over 20 people. Dube Mobile is a multifaceted company whose core business is mobile money. Established some 10 years ago as an airtime vendor, the company now has a Cash Plus outlet.
Ever since I started the business, there's been a radical change, not only in my life, but in those that I employ. My biggest pride is that I hire people that are mostly single parents. And those people, used to struggle with raising their children, taking them to school. But since I employed them, they've had a different experience and their lives have really been impacted. I have 20 employees, and my employees are spread around the country. There are some who are here and others who are about 20 to 25 kilometers from here. So my drivers have to go around picking up the money and supporting them with the units as well, to ensure that we don't go without stock. So that's why I have been able to employ people of different quality and caliber.
The Financial Services Regulatory Authority, FSRA, regulates and supervises all non-bank financial service providers in the kingdom. These account for 70% of the financial services sector, a space predominantly occupied by pension funds and insurance schemes. It supervises about 400 entities, which also include brokers and agents. To make meaningful impact in the financial sector space, it was important that the Central Bank of Eswatini and the Financial Services Regulatory Authority, which is not yet a member of AFI, sing from the same hymn book.
Financial inclusion, as you may be aware, is now a standing principle and concept, but at some point for us, our interest was to just bring some orderliness in the financial services space. The NBFI sector had previously been unregulated for many years, so to bring in a supervisory approach that speaks to the businesses that these entities conduct and also bring that balance to the services that they offer to consumers to ensure that they offer safe and healthy products. So it has been a journey, and part of that journey was then to also consider matters that touch on financial inclusion. We have been participants and key participants to the development of the financial inclusion strategy in the country, and we have some pillars that we hold dear to our mandate to ensure that we provide access and ensure that the services and products that the regulated entities are providing are seamless and efficient. So over and above that, we have been then trying to, as you are aware, it's quite a wide space, so to bring in a culture that responds and also accommodates the nature of these entities.
With a market share of just 20%, Lidwala Insurance Company is the second largest insurer in the kingdom. Over the years, the corporate sector, SMEs and SMMEs have been its happy hunting ground.
For now, we are mainly reaching, I would say, it's corporates, SMEs and SMMEs. The people we're leaving behind, I would say, are currently the marginalized people, like your people in your rural areas, your people in the non-formal sector. So I would say those are marginalized or they're left out. Predominantly because, number one, of lack of understanding of the nature of the product we're offering. It's perceived to be an expensive or an unnecessary evil. So you'd find that most of the time those people are not even interested in the product. So there's a lot of work that we need to do in terms of education and tailoring our products to accommodate them and their price.
Safrican, the country's 7th insurer, seems to be finding a lot of joy growing its brand in poor communities, particularly women groups and typical African family structures.
Our main focus and objective was to go out into the communities to really look at the people at the bottom of the pyramid who were unable to access financial services and actually bury their loved ones in a dignified manner. So when we were established to date, our main business has been the communities. We've seen great success, especially as we launched into the retail. So our business is mainly groups and also individuals. And our groups would be communities of women in the various sectors of the kingdom. And we try and price a very affordable and cheap rate for them, so that they are able to bury their loved ones. Our product is a very simple product, and we call ourselves African because we tailor-made this product to accommodate an African setting, an African family.
For many stakeholders, this has been a very important learning journey. While plotting the ideal future, the biggest question to ask is, what will it take to get there?
Honestly speaking, we've had positive responses in everything. I think a classic example, when we were launching our gender inclusion financial roadmap, that room was filled. We actually needed to get extra chairs from the anticipated 50 people there, because there's so much appetite for the space at this point in time. And also, I think it's because it's not a stagnant field. It's evolving, it's looking at what's going on. There's new trends coming up here and there. Without doing financial inclusion, we're going to miss a lot. So we're going to leave out a lot of people in the financial sector.